Okay, thank you, Kenneth. All right, everyone, good morning. It is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. This is our 10 a.m. regular Board of Commissioners meeting. I will call this meeting to order, and we need to establish a quorum. Commissioners Jacobson, Commissioner Hall, and myself do indeed establish a quorum. And our first item is appointing chair and vice chair of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. So I think we need to get right into that.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Commissioner Hall as chair for 2025.
And thank you for that motion, Commissioner Jacobson. I do want to say here before we pass this motion, that one of the most common questions I think I get is, what does a chair exactly do anyways for the Board of Commissioners? So I would encourage us to that end to maybe think about adopting a resolution describing what the chair does exactly. And words of inspiration before you take the gavel.
Good to be back.
All right. Very, very good.
Looking forward to a productive year
Excellent.
for all of us.
Well, it sounds wonderful. Okay, so we had a motion.
And I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so do we want to do a shuffle?
Yes, please.
Okay. So give us just a moment. This is where I'm going over here.
Take care of the chairs later.
No Jeopardy music right now.
Mhm. And our next order of business is the election of a vice chair for the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners for 2025. Do I have any nominations for vice chair?
I would move that we nominate Commissioner Jacobson as vice chair.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And now we move on to our monthly recognition of service dates, service anniversaries. And first up, we have Morgan Quady, 5 years of service with community justice.
Yeah, you stand awkwardly right there. There you go. Okay.
Diana Vasquez, 5 years with Health and Human Services. Dora Young, 10 years with the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. Hugh Smith, 15 years with the Sheriff's Office. Nanette Buck, better known to most of us as Nan, 20 years in human resources. Well, the next name on the list is mine.
Claire
20
Hall.
Yeah,
Claire
20
Hall,
years as
20
a
years of
commissioner.
service. Commissioner Hall, I think before we take a picture, I think you need to go stand awkwardly with everyone else and be in the photos.
Okay, I guess yeah. One more name, Joanne Sinclair, 25 years with the clerk's office.
Nice to step forward. You're fine where you are, Nan. I just want to get the chairs out of the picture.
Now we get to welcome the newest members of Team Lincoln County. Christian Evans, Community Justice Youth Care Specialist 1, Juvenile. Okay.
No.
No, it's new.
Haha. No pins. Go ahead. Oh, that's right. Haven't done this for a couple of years. Come on up, Jaylene. My apologies.
I thought maybe I was off the hook.
your light on?
Yes. Supposed to be red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Chair, Commissioners, for the record, my name is Jaylene Cook and I'm the Assistant HR Director. We have 5 folks that were unable to join us today, so I will introduce them. And then we have 3 that will come up to introduce themselves. First off, Christian Evans, Community Justice as a Youth Care Specialist 1. Shannon Heisler with the District Attorney's Office as a Deflection Program Coordinator. Willie Jones with Information Technology as a User Support Specialist. Isaiah Opperud with the Sheriff's Office as a Deputy Sheriff Patrol. Mark Trotman with Health and Human Services as a Physician's Assistant.
Hello, I'm Bridget Green, and I'm going to be behavioral health as a support specialist.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Tiffany Kerwin, Health and Human Services Clinical Counselor 4.
Morning, Tiffany.
Hello, my name is Rigo Vera. I'm with the Sheriff's Office and I'm a patrol deputy.
Welcome. Yeah, I think, are we up to the photos moment? Mr. Lip.
Well done. Thank you.
Next up, a special recognition.
Oh, go ahead.
Did I miss?
Well, I was just going to say, Commissioner
Go
Hall,
ahead.
since we're under recognition and proclamation, I just wanted to say that there is a new sheriff in town.
Yes.
So-
He just arrived.
And he just arrived. So I just want to say congratulations to Sheriff Shanks.
Congratulations.
Morning, Sheriff.
Now, a special recognition. Our risk manager, Gina Lakis, is being has been recognized for exceptional work statewide. And County Counsel Kristen Yule, I'd like to ask you to make the presentation.
Could I have Gina come up to the table? And Brian, you can come up and support her too. So the role of a risk manager is to identify potential liabilities and to keep risk exposure to a minimum. So keeping risk to a minimum and reducing possible exposure, it will reduce claims, and something that our administrator will like, it reduces costs. Effective risk management saves money, it builds employee morale, and it saves lives. Risk management duties are part of the legal counsel's office. They're spearheaded by Gina Likas, who also serves as the paralegal supporting 3 attorneys in our office. Over the past few years, Gina has diligently learned the intricacies of risk management, has brought her skills and leadership to improving the safety of our employees. Her efforts have not gone unnoticed. This past fall, the Public Risk Management Association, which is known as PRIMA, awarded Lincoln County the Achievement in Risk Management Award for Gina's work as the county's risk manager. So that's 1 award. Gina's efforts were also recognized by City County Insurance with an Innovation Award in November. Each year, CIS Risk Management looks at other counties across Oregon, and they identify groundbreaking solutions for reducing employee injuries. The Innovation Award acknowledges creativity, commitment, and the implementation of forward-thinking programs. This year, Lincoln County stood out as a shining example of these values, and this is due to Gina's work. This was updating the county's safety manual and training for safety committee members, a tractor training program and equipment. She implemented new fire extinguisher resources and training programs. She worked with county parks to identify needs. She developed specialized training programs, including transit driver training, threat assessment training. She created a new employee emergency response manual to prepare staff for crises. She launched an ergonomic responder program to ensure key staff are trained in ergonomic safety practices. So these are just a snapshot of the things that Gina has done. There's probably about 3 to 4 pages of things I highlighted when I went over everything Gina has done since she's been here. But these have significantly enhanced Lincoln County's safety culture, making everybody safe and healthier. So anyone who has worked with Gina knows she's about finding solutions. Can you please join me in congratulating Gina for her work?
You want to, yeah, just get one of her first. Yeah, I'll get one of her first.
Yeah, there you go. Get the rig.
What did Tom do? Her wrist went
Oh.
up.
Utter everything she knows.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't crop this one out.
Yay.
All right.
We move on now to the adoption of the consent calendar. Generally, these are items that have been discussed at previous meetings or are routine in nature. Would anyone like to make a motion for approval of the consent calendar?
Okay, sorry about that.
Mhm.
I feel like the people that aren't chair, you have to kind of learn to
Sure.
get into it a little bit. Okay.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Yes, and I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Oh, thank you.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we're moving right along now. We don't have any public hearings on the agenda. Our first decision and action item is second reading of ordinance 538 related to land use planning, amending Lincoln County Code Chapter 1 regarding administration and declaring an emergency. Council Ewell?
Could you go to does the board would like title only?
Title only is okay with me.
That's fine with me as well.
Okay. So this is before the Board of Commissioners, ordinance number 538, related to land use planning, amended Lincoln County Code, Chapter 1, regarding administration and declaring an emergency. You scroll down, Kathleen. So is this the FEMA ordinance?
Yeah.
So this is one Doug put up. Okay, so actually this is just cleanup. If you go through, there's 23 pages. A lot of it's. Yeah, do you want to come up? A lot of it's administration cleanup that they've been working on for a long time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Anna Husing, your planning director. Your humble planning director. We've already had a hearing. This did, Kristen, so you've heard, I've given a presentation on this once before. It was a brief presentation that, in recent years, we began to look, especially when we started on the Goal 18 thing, and we had some fresh eyes with Jerry Herbage. I'll say this again, that came in and we spotted that the administrative part of our land use code had not been updated in a number of years. So we were keeping track of things that really we needed to do to amend that. We worked with Matt Spangler, our former planning director, and Jerry Herbage when he was an assistant county counsel here, very skilled at these kinds of things too. So that those were the workhorses that developed this upgrade, modernization of our administrative section. So I think I used the metaphor that discussions about this is like as boring as watching paint dry, but it's very, very, very important that we are aligned with state law and that these procedures are clear. For instance, our plan, the composition of the planning commission, and a few other kinds of things. So a lot of work has gone into this. I really don't think there's anything controversial about anything that we've put in there. It just makes us more responsive to cleaning up, a part of our code that really has sat there without improvements for a number of years. So I'm happy to answer any questions and but urge passage.
Questions for Mr. Hughes?
One thing,
Oh,
there is
sorry.
actually something
Oh,
in the administrative part that
Okay.
also is related to the FEMA stuff that so the timing of making sure this gets put into place is even that much more pressing.
I don't have any questions. I see this as fairly, routine cleanup. I remember when I first became a commissioner and Jerry Urbich, Assistant County Counsel, was working on it, he found that we still had stuff in our planning code that you had to have a number of hitching posts for horses in our code for certain types of buildings. So he kind of, cleaned that up so nobody was getting violations for not having hitching posts. So I think it's important just to do cleanup and make sure we're compliant. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's an outstanding anecdote. I don't know whether we had any hitching posts in there, but remember one of the things we spent a few minutes being amused at the last hearing was that it was put in our code years ago that there would be an ex officio slot on our planning commission for a high school senior. And so we've never had a high school senior.
Mhm.
Right. So that's kind of like the hitching post, right? If there are young people in the high school that want to participate as interns or whatever, I'm all in. God, I think it would be great. But they don't need to be an ex officio member of the planning commission.
I do love land use, but I don't think a lot of seniors probably, are
Well,
very
if they
passionate about
gave it
that.
half a chance, then
Yeah, that's true.
no, it's really interesting stuff. But and again, the door is so wide open for anybody in the educational community that thinks that, because I think that is an outstanding thing, right, for young people to do some part-time internships. I know you had your daughter here for a while, and right at one point.
No, she was with Extension. Heather's waving back there. She wasn't with me. She was with those Extension services last summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
the larger point is that we welcome any involvement from the schools, and we will do all sorts of stuff to make that a meaningful experience for them if they are so inclined.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions, Commissioner?
Yeah, I think for Council Ewell or Mr. Husing here, as we work on these things and then we see our actual code get updated as well. In the past, what I've done is kind of combined our code into one PDF and then I'll text search that
Mhm.
to just see it comprehensively. Weren't we working on some codification software too? Is that all part of our tightening things up, or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we do have a codification software,
Hmm.
Muni, is
Unicode.
it? It's Municode.
Unicode.
Yeah, so it will be searchable once it's complete, and people going to our website will be able to find things easily.
Okay, very good.
But it's
Uh,
not just related to plan, that's countywide.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be great for us to get that implemented because, we make ordinances and then not everybody always understands, right? Here's an ordinance, but later this is going to appear in the code. So,
Well, and we encourage people, if they have the fortitude and the interest to actually start reading our code, then it's always beneficial for them to also engage us to help to make sure that they're together, they're getting an accurate understanding of what the code says. That's always an invitation for people to
yeah.
to tap into us, and together we'll do what we can to make sure they understand what our code requires and doesn't require.
Yeah. Chair Hall.
Yes.
I can't read that so well there. Oh, date for deployment. Yes, well, that's a good question. Any idea when code software, Municode's going to hit the ground? Not yet. Okay. Well, nothing else for me. Thank you, Mr. Husing, Council Ewell.
Okay. Let's see, we have,
I'm ready to make a motion unless
Okay.
there's yeah. All right, I'll make a motion adopting ordinance 538 relating to land use planning, amending Lincoln County Code LLC, Chapter 1 regarding administration, excuse me, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, I will second that motion.
all in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Now we move on to 6B, the second reading of ordinance 539 regarding an ordinance amending Lincoln County Code, Chapter 6.310, provide for fees for certain county road right-of-way uses.
Commissioners, would you like this read by title only or full text?
Title
Title is
only.
Okay.
Title only.
For the Board of Commissioners for Lincoln County, Oregon, ordinance number 539, regarding an ordinance amending Lincoln County Code, Chapter 6.310, to provide for fees for permits for certain county road right-of-way uses. And this is the second reading, and I have Mr. Dewan here if you have any questions about this ordinance.
I don't have any questions.
I don't.
Director Dewan, anything to add? I don't have any questions for you, but something that's happening across the state, correct?
For the record, Michael Dwan, Public Works Director. Happening across the state,
Seemed priority.
yes,
At
it is seen as a
AOC.
priority. At this point, I believe Multnomah County is the only other county to have adopted such an ordinance. I believe Lincoln County potentially will be the second. We do anticipate both of these ordinances to be examples for the rest of the state. As the current president of the Oasis Association, I've advocated for this change at the legislative level for quite some time. I'm glad to see it move forward. Really don't see it as controversial at all, other than the main issue or the main change with this is by effectively implementing fees, we're raising a fee from 0 to something.
Mhm.
But I can say with high confidence, as normally the fee schedules are changed, if we were simply raising a fee, I really wouldn't see it as controversial. But I think that's been the sticking point so far is raising a fee from 0 to something. That's different, and that's been a holdup for a while, but hopefully this will allow us to recover some of the costs that we expend on design work and other consultation. And I'd be glad to answer any other questions you might have if that answered yours.
Yeah, well, I think it does. I mean, we're out ahead of this one, and I think that's great. Oasis, could you kind of describe how you fit into that as the president? Just curious.
It's a nice acronym, excuse me. Again, OASIS is the Oregon Association of County Engineers and Surveyors. I've been a party to that for 11, 12 years. It's basically a conglomerate of all the county road officials, public works directors, road masters, whatever titles they may use. I've found it to be a wealth of knowledge and took a more active role several years ago and joined the board. I'm the current president for the year 2025. I expect to be attending Capitol Day and helping advocate for certain legislation, but it's been like I say, a wealth of knowledge, and it's a very collaborative group, very cooperative.
Good. Thank you for that. Nothing more for me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 539 regarding an ordinance amending Lincoln County Code, Chapter 6310, to provide for fees for certain county road right-of-way uses. Kind of a mouthful there.
You did it. I'll second that motion. Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, and thank you to legal counsel as well. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
And we'll turn to legal counsel right now to present something a proposal we discussed at a previous meeting.
Yes.
Counsel Ewell.
Thank you, Commissioners. So before you is a form that actually Geneva Campitelli has drafted. So historically for commissioner reports, in line with other counties, commissioners report on meetings that they've attended. And so that's historically been our practice. And so this just kind of completes this in a written form. It would be submitted along with any written materials the Thursday prior, which is our deadline to the BOC meeting. So it just allows for commissioners to update the public on meetings they've attended, which is kind of consistent with our practice. So I am asking for adoption and discussion today.
Commissioner Jacobson, do you have any thoughts?
Couple thoughts. One is I did talk with staff right before this, and this is going to be in a fillable format, which was my biggest thing. I thought that would help a lot, all of us, just to be able to have like a smart sheet form or something. So that's big. The only other thing I might suggest is maybe like a extra category that would say something like, if this is a public meeting or there's a recording, like maybe provide the link to that page so that Like if Commissioner Hall attended a meeting and I was like, oh, I wonder what that was about or whatever, if it was public, if she could, link me the page that goes to the minutes. That, that would just save a little bit of time on everyone else's end. So I think that would be valuable just to provide a link, if there is one, to minutes or recordings. Yeah.
Commissioner Miller.
Yeah, I appreciate this is a starting point, and then I've got my sample as well that I'll hand out to everyone.
A sample form.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this is slightly nebulous because I'll tell you why. I know you're laughing at me, aren't you? Okay, so here is, wait till I get back in front of them.
Thank you. Is there more than one?
Got a double?
I think I got a double. Okay.
Recording secretary. And then one for you too as well. I've already given one to Quentin Smith. So yeah, I appreciate the discussion last week about this. Commissioner Jacobson, I think you had said, you noted that one example in my reports was the Forest Trust Land Advisory Committee. And so this is, what you have here is actually my commissioner report as well for commissioners' reports coming up. I realize that we're discussing this, but as you had said, Commissioner Jacobson, that, maybe my coming report on the AOCC meeting that I attended could be a litmus test for our report process. So what I would like everybody to take a look at in this, what's before you today, is, okay, let's juxtapose this against the form that we have online. Okay, BOC meeting dates. You can see here I have recipients. Type of report. So whether it be a meeting, an event, an update, or a presentation, to me, that seemed like an additional category that would be helpful. Of course, date. Now, meeting type. So for example, this is a report for the ONC counties event or meeting that I went to, our annual meeting. And in this case, I am a proxy representative for this commission. Commissioner Jacobson was the former representative for the board. And to me, that's substantive, right? Commissioner Jacobson, you gave an example of the webinar that you attended in your report for NACO. That was informative. It's good to hear about what you're doing. I like the discussion that followed from that conversation. But, again, a different type of meeting. So I think to note the depth of the meeting might be useful in some cases. And the example of the ONC counties, those conversations really do have a revenue impact on the county. In the case of ONC lands, we are getting revenues from the forestry that happens on those lands. That's key. So you can see here, I'm noting, there's a revenue impact to me attending this meeting and then voting on our behalf. And in this example of the report, you can see action needed. Yeah, I do think I want to circle back here at the end of this submission. You see follow up with Administrator Johnson, Finance and Treasurer. Let's take a look at the current revenues that are coming in. As we move forward, do you still want me to be your proxy representative at the AOCC moving into 2025, for example? And then what's your feedback on that? And then, this to me is something that's potentially going to have impact on how we use those dollars. So do we need further discussion about that? So to me, when I think about the purpose of having a report form, it can be quite wide ranging. And I think the report that we have today, the template that we have, Council Yule, I think, prepared this form. It definitely is a starting point. But what I'm trying to suggest to you that in the example here, look at this additional detail and that it would really serve us. Now, you might say, well, maybe this is really a discussion item, and that's possible too. I mean, I'm open here, but I'm also looking for a process that serves me and you, not only for me to share with you what I'm doing and share with the community what I'm doing, but also that it serves you as your representative in this case, that I'm going out and doing the work that you want me to do. And then I would add that what's important to AOCC is that, you know, I'm representing you well, coming back to them. So this report will be actually something that I submit back to them, letting them know I've actually reached out to you. So I know that was quite a bit, but that is just an example I wanted to provide you to continue this discussion, because I do recall in the 18th, we said that this was a discussion item. So, okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Commissioner Miller, under the summary portion on page 2, did you like the 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera? Did you pull that from minutes they took? Like, are those your own notes or?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you'll see like
Okay.
attachments here.
Could I interject? So that was
Yeah.
going to be my question as well, is are we just regurgitating minutes from these meetings, which, so we need to focus on that these are business meetings. You attending, you guys attending committee meetings and being assigned to these, I guess, committees and hearings, that's fine. But if somebody wants to find out about what the minutes say, they can go to the link which would be provided. So to fill our minutes, and Miss Kelly, she's the one who's
Sure.
keeping minutes, and to regurgitate somebody else's minutes, that's not the purpose of what commissioners' reports are. It's to say, what did I attend? If somebody's interested and they want to go read the minutes, they would be able to do so with a link.
Well, so that's kind of where I was going, Counselor. That's why I was asking if these were notes Commissioner Miller took or just pulling off the minutes. And maybe coming back to my point about, this form is we could kind of free up a little bit of this by, and work as well, just by saying, summary,
Mhm.
minutes attached or something like that, or a link to those minutes. I think that would be appropriate, is just to provide like a quick link or a hot link or whatever to, where those are kept.
Yeah, yeah. So
I think
for,
that would be good.
for clarity, yes, this overview, and you can see in the attachments there, this is, yes, the summary provided by Doug Robertson for that meeting,
Okay.
provided to me. Now, at this time, that is not available on their website, for example.
Okay.
But yeah, again, I'm trying to bring you a good overview of everything that transpired, right?
Mhm.
And to me, that seems fundamentally important. I presume or would request that this, for example, is included in the packet for the meeting. So in my mind, a note in the minutes that this was presented, it's historically there in the public record as the packet. So, I certainly don't want to create a burden on anyone. But again, looking to just capture what exactly I'm doing out there. So, what are your feelings on that?
Well, my understanding is that trying to kind of formalize a form would be that we would submit those forms, just as other people submit things, with adequate time for staff, those would be included in the packet. I mean, that's my understanding of
Yeah.
sort of why we're doing this.
Yeah.
There would be a deadline cut off, just like there is for other agenda items and such
Sure.
like that, which I think we can all comply with as we make others comply with.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, I think to your point, the point is that yes, we'd have a formalized process, and then those would go in the packet.
So commissioners, I can add a link. Again, I'm going to reiterate that I think it is duplicative to have minutes taken from so commissioners, you're able to go to the link yourselves. You
Yeah,
can read the
that's-
minutes, which is
Mhm.
helpful when people follow public meetings law, they provide minutes. The other two commissioners are able to follow up on committee meetings that they can't attend.
Just a couple of thoughts
Yeah,
I'd like
please.
to offer. I've been hanging around these parts since the Reagan
Yes,
administration
you have.
now. So, but in those I'll be starting my 39th year hanging around this building next month. And, we're evolving from a traditional format that's been in place a very long time. I understand, and I think it's a worthy and very positive thing to get more information out directly to the people. But again, I
Mhm.
think the content, the form, we need to still keep talking through some of these things.
Yeah. Well, and in this case too, circling back with Administrator Johnson, and again, you might consider this expedited for the purposes of discussion. But in trying to be as comprehensive as I can to you, for example, in this case, would it have been advantageous for me to, and I guess you wouldn't know until you receive the updates, so it's an ongoing process, but for us to look at those current and actual revenues coming in from O and C lands, because we have some historicals, but that's really not accurate and up to date. So to me, that's kind of an iteration that I can see moving forward that would be important. And then furthermore, where those dollars are going into the general fund or elsewhere.
So I'm gonna try to divert back. So if there are needs that the county, that need to be brought before the board for action, certainly Administrator Johnson can add that to the agenda. But what we're here today just to talk about is how commissioners update the community on meetings they're attending. So I would just like some discussion on a form.
Another thing I like from Commissioner Miller's form, which we didn't have in ours, and I liked it, is the proxy representative for the board. Yes, no, I think that's nice because there's certain committees that people are on that they were asked to be on. It's the board
Yes.
is not appointing those people. They're asked to be on by community groups or what have you. And then there's groups that we have to have someone on. And so we, vote or whatever on who's on that. So I do like
Correct.
this proxy representative. The one thing I'll say about the wording is it may not necessarily be real like public friendly in terms of the public knowing
Sure.
what that's saying. So maybe the wording can be a little different, but I sort of like that. Is
Mhm.
this, are you representing the whole board or not? So maybe
Sure.
something like that. I think that's helpful.
Commissioner Jacobson or Commissioner Hall, is it?
Mhm.
You had mentioned you'd looked at some other jurisdictions, you'd seen some things you sound like you said you thought were really tight and on point.
Mhm.
I haven't really looked at reports per se from other jurisdictions. I still would be happy to do that and explore that. It might be again that what I'm doing here and, kind of where Council Yule is leaning with something really bare bones is really something that falls into kind of a different category, if you will, like community update or management team update. And I'm not speaking just about our management teams as we look at, kind of how other jurisdictions funnel that information into the governing body. Um, and Commissioner Hall, Chair Hall, Administrator Johnson, any thoughts? Yourself? You're a details person. You provide us great staff reports. I always appreciate those. And I think in essence, maybe as what you see here is my report, I'm trying to bring that kind of quality that you bring to us. So I would certainly love to hear if you have anything to say.
Chair, through the chair, commissioners, thank you, Commissioner. This is anything but nebulous, so very specific here. Could we take another crack at this? Would you mind?
That's where I'm leaning. I
you
think
said
we,
it-
Uh-huh.
we
would
had
you-
a nice discussion and I think
Could
there
we
was
take
some.
another crack at this, go through it? And I did have a chance to talk to county council on this. I would like to have had an opportunity just to talk to some of my other colleagues about what they have their commissioners fill out in the way of a form. So if I could, with the holidays and everything that was trying to get
Understood.
done, it was a lot of people were missing in action, if you will.
Yes.
So if we could do that and bring this back for the
I'm
next
fine with that.
meeting, are you
What do my
both okay
colleagues
with that?
feel?
I think seeing other iterations and other examples would definitely be useful and certainly some investigation I could do as well. But this is my my sample, if you will, for you to, try to stimulate that discussion.
It was a good exercise.
All right.
One more thing I would just say before we move on is the other thing I like is, again, especially if we think about a fillable form, is just having like the BOC meeting date that this is going on. I think that's important too. So,
Yes.
which Commissioner
Yes.
Miller did do, our draft form doesn't have, so just a minor thing.
Okay,
Yes. Uh-huh.
so
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. We're on to an order initiating transfer of a portion of County Road 813, Ocean View Drive.
Hey, Commissioner.
Hmm? This one? I don't see any paperclip on it, though.
Here, do you want to?
Oh, wait a minute, here, yeah.
I think you're using an old agenda.
Ah,
You're throwing
Old
off
version,
everything.
I did not know. Well, we're not talking through, all right. I believe then that
Staff report.
takes us to staff reports. Yep, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Heather Tower, Fair Manager and the 4-H Program Coordinator for Lincoln County. I appreciate you guys taking the time today to listen to our little report regarding the fair planning. As you know, the fairgrounds is going to be starting construction relatively quickly, and we won't have access to the facility for the fair for 2025. And so this is just kind of updating you on how we're planning around that for this upcoming fair season. There's a PowerPoint, thank you, if you want to pop that up. You can go to the next slide.
Just 1 second to get it.
Yeah. And I will let Administrator Johnson talk about the construction because this is more of his wheelhouse than mine.
Well, thank you. You received a report, a written report, staff report from me last month. So you have a fairly good idea. This is obviously the overview of a conceptual rendering of what it will look like. As you know, progress is going forward. If you go out there right now, you'll notice that we're preparing project infrastructure work has been completed on all the civil work, so we know where sewer lines, water lines, utility lines, et cetera, are located, what needs to be changed, and more importantly, current construction that's going on. All of the ballast and lights, except for in the main exhibit hall, are coming out of the buildings. Now, let me just stop for a moment. We're not touching the egg barn, so that one has already been completed. So that one's staying. But the other buildings, the floral building, the riding stable, and the rodeo pavilion, the rodeo arena itself had old lighting that never has worked in the recent years. All of that has been or is being taken down as we speak. And then one of the things that you all know from the stable, if you can visualize in your mind, there is a power line that runs across Harney Street from a weatherhead on the stable building across to a pole on the west side of the property and then crosses Harney to a pole on the east side, crossing overhead on the street, which is then used to light the property, the animal shelter, and the transit parking area. That is being taken down, and that power line is being reconfigured on the other side, on the east side of the street currently, and will be up momentarily to serve the same purpose, but we will not cross the right-of-way anymore. So with that, we're obviously completed the work And we'll be bringing a contract to you for demolition of some of the buildings that we have here shortly. And we also have completed the RFP for a bond council. So that work is all going forward and will be coming to you within the next, I'd say, 60 days. And then we move into the RFP process for selection of an architect, design engineers to get these buildings up and going. And then we'll move forward with it. So we are expecting that the 2025 fair will be interrupted due to the subsequent construction. And as such, it's been a year and a half ago, the Fair Board undertook a process of understanding that and worked with a consultant to look at opportunities to relocate activities of the fair, and that's what Heather's going to talk about now.
So if you want to go to the next slide. So we are.
Heather, can I interrupt you real quick
Yes,
before we move on?
absolutely.
Sorry, before we move, can you go back a slide? Thank you. So one question, you see the little Herney building there on the corner. I know in our original commons plan that was staying, but then I think it like had a flood or something and had some issues. So sounds like it did have a flood, by the way, Heather's laughing. So is that building staying and being remodeled? Is it being torn down and rebuilt?
Remodeled.
It is going to be remodeled.
Yeah,
So it is staying.
it
It's
is
just
staying.
going through a facelift.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the dilemmas that you have is that if you take it down, then the change due to land use planning, you have to set back, and then
Oh,
it
I understand.
changes
Yeah.
it
Okay.
changes the whole configuration of what we do.
Got
It is a quality building in the context of the fact that it is similar to the ag building in that it's metal, a metal structure. So we'll look at a new metal skin on that. We'll put in ADA compliant doors so that all works. It is what I would call an open bullpen type of building. And we will get cubicles to go within that building, and we'll use that for a couple different purposes. One, we'll use it for fair management, or in some part, we'll use it for overall management of the commons, so the personnel that are associated with that, and then for all show management, where people go when there's an individual event going on or events going on. That is a great opportunity to use that size building to do that.
Become an admin building.
Yeah,
staff
basically,
building.
yeah.
Okay.
So it'll work very well for us.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thanks.
Going back to the actual event, so we are actively seeking different sites to do the fair event as we've done it traditionally in the past. And we're looking at maybe alternative things that we can bring as part of that fair weekend. So it may be several events we're doing across the county, a singular event that we possibly could find a large enough space to host us. Both Administrator Johnson and I are seeking out those opportunities, making those connections, and trying to get contracts and things like that in place as soon as possible. If you go to the next slide, I can talk generally about what the kind of traditional activities we've done at our fair and things that we're also looking to add. As you guys know, we've always had full 3 days of music. We have a food vendor, food court, our 4-H exhibits that will probably stay at the Ag Barn as it's been redeveloped and it's already available for use. And I am struggling to find another place in the county that can safely house the amount of animals that the kids bring for fair. And so they might be just their own satellite event where they're doing their traditional judging and showing and their auction and everything on site at the ag building. Open class is another big part of fair. So that's when you have Lincoln County residents bringing in their arts and crafts and canning and cooking and things that they've worked on throughout the year. We've not had a carnival for several years. We've kind of transitioned into more of this kid zone where we have the bouncy houses, the camel rides, face painting, things like that. We are looking at possibly retaining our rodeo because that is probably the biggest revenue draw for our fair. It is the only thing that we ticket for. As you know, our fair is a free event. So to offset that, we do bring in the rodeo event that helps kind of cover some of the costs of operating the fair. In order to make it work, we're looking at doing what we call rough stock rodeo. So it's a smaller event, less events within the actual rodeo, and it needs a smaller footprint. You're just looking at bulls, broncs, just the single cowboys coming in, doing their event and leaving. We're not doing like the timed events where you have the barrel racers coming in with their giant horse trailers and things like that. But it would be something we would like to retain because of the dates we secured through NPRA, which is our rodeo association, and then the contractor we use to provide the stock. We want to keep those available to us as we move through the redevelopment and have them come back. Because if you don't know, the reason we have a rodeo is because someone was unavailable to do it that weekend, and we kind of absorbed that date. And so we really want to kind of stick with that to keep that as part of our fair moving forward. And then we were looking at things to bring in, maybe pet parades, car shows, other events that we can get the community involved and keep the fair going. And then always the Rotary, for the last, I think, 5 years, the Rotary has done a large dolphin drop in conjunction with the fair. We just give them the space. They plan everything out on their own. And so looking at venues, we can do that event as well. If you want to go to the next slide. And then, like I said, we're looking at expanding some of the activities that we do, something that is a low fiscal impact. Because if you don't know, it's lucky if we break even and we're in the black every year for fair. That's kind of our goal. We're not trying to make money, but we are trying to do an event that we're not spending a lot of money on. And so if we can keep those fiscal impacts low, but have more community involvement, so car shows, pet parades, things like that, where the community is coming in and they're the ones involved in the event. And we're, again, just providing a venue or assistance or support or however that looks. And then if you want to go to the next one. So obviously, we're looking countywide. The commons are currently located in Newport, but we are looking in Lincoln City, Siletz, Toledo, Waldport, whoever has space to house us. We are looking to use their space. I am working currently with the casino to maybe do a lot of the bulk of fair, like open class, house the vendors, do the food vendors, possibly do the kids zone there, have the bouncy houses. They do have a large amount of space that can house us. And it also brings, I mean, they're right on the beach. It's 4th of July weekend. They don't have a big event that weekend either. And so we are in talks with them at possibly using the casino for kind of the heart, and then looking at, outskirts, Siletz, Toledo, Waldport for that rodeo event. It is kind of a plug and play event. We have most of the equipment, so it'll just be a matter of us building that out. And then having parking is the other big one that we're running into, is having parking for everybody to be able to attend those events.
Heather,
Yeah,
can I ask you just, so we're going to maybe have this satellite concept,
right.
and just the logistics of each location. I mean, is
Mhm.
that what you mean?
Yeah. And I would obviously, probably, I'm only one person, so I would probably use the fair board to help kind of manage those satellite pieces. For 4-H, I have strong support there. I'm not concerned about that. I have another staff member that can kind of manage that. And they're very well established. They know what to do. So they're kind of can fend for themselves and do what they need to get done. But like if we're doing a car show, maybe Todd Butterfield, manages that aspect, and he gives the awards, or he's on, boots on the ground there. And Todd Williver has managed and run the rodeo since it came back in 2019. And so, maybe he's the one boots on the ground with the rodeo. And so we would just kind of spread ourselves out throughout the county and have one kind of fair board member managing those different satellite sites.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you want to go to, oh, you're on it. Thank you. So we, like I said, are working with various sites, looking at them, looking at feasibility, kind of walking through what a fair entails. When I met with the casino, he was like, wow, I didn't realize how much you do. And I said, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And so just kind of giving them what we do, how we do it, if they've never been to our fair, kind of explaining what it is and the importance of keeping certain things like the open class venue, like 4-H, like music, like local music. That's one thing we do pride ourselves on is we've always used local music and had local bands and artists play. And so that's things I would like to retain and be able to have throughout the fair. Again, local food trucks. We have several food trucks that are within our county that come every year that people look forward to seeing annually. And so just kind of keeping that tradition, but also expanding and making it a fun event throughout the county. So we're hoping to get those kind of confirmed within the next couple months, get contracts out. And then obviously April, May, June, July is going to be the bulk of pulling everything together. If you want to go to the next slide, this is just kind of financially, like I said, we always try to operate the fair to where it's self-sufficient. Most of our revenue is coming from sponsorships. A small part is vendor fees. We do charge the vendors a fee to be at the fair for the 3 days. And then there's a percentage, some vendors pay a percentage, some pay a site fee, and some pay both, just kind of depending on what they're vending. And then sponsorships, rodeo ticket sales, things like that. We do probably need to look at increasing some of those sponsorships to sustain this for this year. But we do have a state grant that we received. It was a COVID relief grant that we applied for and were awarded last year that is sitting in our coffers to be able to use. But I would like to kind of retain that kind of balance where we're bringing in enough to cover the costs of the event. And then just making it something that we're sustaining that growth of. And I think we will go to the next slide. And if it works well this year, it might be something that we look into doing different events that are part of the county fair across our county. I know because we are 4th of July weekend, a lot of feedback that we get from maybe South County or North County residents is it's hard to get to Newport because it is a busy weekend. I live in Loxton and I avoid town when it's very busy. So I understand that. And so being able to have kind of these satellite events in the future might be beneficial to our fair event as a whole. And then just, building that brand that we've worked so hard in the last 10 years to retain. And then it would be great to be able to foster some more collaborations within those community partners that we have. And that is all I have. If you guys have any questions, I am happy to answer them.
Not a question, but just an observation. I really love the concept of a fair in multiple locations, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Questions, comments?
No, just a big thank you. Thank you, Heather. I know this is a lot of work for you, not just running like the fair under normal circumstances, but trying to run the fair under unnormal circumstances. So thank you for all your work and to the fair board as well.
Yeah, I will pass that along. We actually have a fair board meeting tomorrow.
please
So
do.
I got to do this all again tomorrow. But I do appreciate you guys too, as commissioners. You guys have all been very active since I've been a member of the fair. This is going to be my 3rd year as the fair manager, but because of my ties with 4-H, I've been doing this for almost 10 years
Long
now.
time.
And I know all 3 of you have been very active and coming to the fair and doing awards and being a part of it. So I really do appreciate that. And you guys taking your time to be seen, because some counties don't have a commission buy-in for their events. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Miller, any observations?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair Hall. Heather, yes, thank you so much. I learned a lot by being on site this year, just how hard you guys work and how much, the logistics, everything. Appreciate it so much. I'll kind of echo Commissioner Hall's statements, maybe this pop-up fair, if you will, as much of it's a challenge, maybe it's an opportunity, like that you said, to kind of expand the brand. So I'm wondering, to assist you with outreach and, get the word out. Kind of hard, right? Because we don't really know exactly where we're going to be yet, but we want buy-in. Um, for that outreach, are we kind of working together like PIO with you, or do we just centralize it all to you? Like, what would be helpful for us to kind of coordinate and get the word out with you?
Well, we did do a massive kind of letter campaign prior to the holidays where we
Oh,
sent letters to all of our vendors, our sponsors,
Okay.
our beverage service company, kind of the big players that are part of FAIR. We've already been talking to the rodeo contractor and PRA, kind of um, figuring out what we're able to do and still be part of the association and things like that.
Yeah.
And I do know we have some hopefully meetings scheduled with like city managers to discuss space availability. I'm not as familiar with like South County. Obviously I live in East County, so I'm very familiar with East County and what they have to offer. And so just making those connections. Um, but I would just, if something comes up, send it to me. I'm happy to
Okay.
answer questions, schedule those meetings, and do what we need to do to kind of get the ball rolling on some of this.
Okay. Yeah, because we definitely want to amplify the right things to help pull it
Commissioner,
all
if you
together.
would,
Yeah,
if
please.
I'd ask all of you to look at exhibits A, B, C that illustrate.
In the staff report.
In the staff
Okay.
report, that went out to all the sponsors, went out to all of the vendors
I see.
and including
Excellent.
a letter that went from our fair manager to the Rotary about working with them on the location of the Dolphin Drop. And then in context with that, that was also then notification to the operator of the rodeo that we would be transitioning this year to a rough stock rodeo in pursuit of that. And then something that's been similar and I think very successful with this county was the use of a site location matrix. You recall that we used this very successfully with the animal shelter location. And we're applying the same logic there. And again, look at it, attachment E in the staff report, and it identifies areas that the Fair Board will be pursuing in categories associated with parking and security, availability for music, ADA accessibility, facility support, whatever that may be as it relates to, for example, utilities, restrooms, things to that nature that may make up an amenity for each and every one site location. So I think they've got a pretty good coverage on this. Next week on Tuesday, we have a meeting with city managers. We hope then to also include the chambers, and they're all involved with that. They will receive the staff report, this PowerPoint, and also the conceptual renderings of what's going on. So they'll all be brought up to date. There seems to be a sense of enthusiasm. They see the opportunity of the, which you would call the satellite opportunities presenting itself in future years. For example, a pet parade. That doesn't necessarily need to be at the Commons. That can be hosted by a jurisdiction. Car shows that are going on at the same time. And may I also add, to our fair manager's credit, she's trying to work it in with Walport's events on the 3rd with their fireworks display. Fireworks display on the 4th here in Newport. And then from what we understand and speaking with the city manager of Lincoln City, they're not doing fireworks, they're doing a drone display.
Oh.
And so that will be taking on a different area there. There, again, much to the fair manager's credit, and she doesn't say much about this, but she did talk about plug and play or integrated event activity work, she's got a business model here where she doesn't have to be doing these events per se. That, for instance, the car show, there are car clubs here in our county or car clubs that actually last year, the Oregon Porsche Club had their statewide event during the time of the fair in our county. That presents an opportunity for us to have them perform that activity, but be sponsored by the Lincoln County Fair. Again, we have appointments coming up that we've already had preliminary discussions, but we have scheduled formal discussions with each one of these car clubs. And given the fact that your leadership under the animal shelter, the concept of a pet parade, I think is really something that you can take and move on. If you go back and you look at the PowerPoint presentation, we used a picture from the pet parade in Bend, which is almost headed for 50 some odd years. It's quite a successful effort that goes on also during the 4th of July week celebration for them. And so maybe this becomes an enormous tradition underwritten by the fair, but in decades to come is something that is left for the community through the auspices and direction of the change that is having to come about due to the construction at the Commons. So again, much to Heather's credit, good business model, good business plan, maximizing energy of volunteers and getting everybody taken care of.
I do have a follow-up question for Heather, if that's all right. As we think about the 2025 fair, would the food vendors be like spread throughout the venues? So that each event has food? Because it seems like in more recent years, there's been a lot of food. I mean, I think a lot of people go just to eat the food.
Yeah, and
I certainly do. So how is the
Elephant
vision
ears.
of that? Yes, exactly.
yeah, I think that would be something that I would like to coordinate with the food vendors. Because if it's more convenient for them to be, say, we're doing something in Walport and that's more, I mean, I would love to have them there. I'll have to maybe talk a little with Colleen because she's the one that has to do all the inspections. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that might be a sticking point to make sure that we have enough of her to go around.
Place.
My vision was kind of to set the majority up at the casino, because they have the facilities to house them. If they're not a food truck per se, then they require gray water, running water. They have to have hand washing stations.
I see.
They also have to have access to power. If they have a generator, there's got to be a large enough easement around their generator. So logistically, it'll just kind of depend. But like if we did a rodeo, it would make sense to bring
Would
in,
want food.
a handful of food vendors to do that event.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one more question. To create some context, so like the impact this may or may not have. For example, Rotary, like Mr. Gardner's here. I know he's a Rotary member. Brian, does that drop constitute like a big portion, half even potentially for your Rotary dollars in that event? Like, I'm just trying to understand like how you guys are contending. Yeah, it is. Not, yeah.
I think it's being discussed. If they're gonna have a rodeo still, we still might be able to do it there.
Okay.
If not, we're looking at other spots too.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of those people, some come just for the drop, right, itself, but some just happen to be there as well.
Well, and we would always allow Rotary, like part of it too is Rotary sells them on site. Like we've always gifted
Yeah.
them booth
Yes.
space to wherever we're at. If they have the people that want to come and do it, I'm more than open arms. Come and sell
Right.
your dolphins and be a part of the event. I mean, Lincoln's, when I'm in talks with the casino, they're right on the beach. And so they have asked me like, how can we do camel rides on the beach or something like that? And I'm like, I gotta look into that. But they had some really fun ideas too, because they know their space better than I do. Right. And so, we do have, meeting with them to talk with more. I just met with one of their sales reps initially, and we're gonna go talk into some of the higher ups within the next couple weeks and get more of idea what we can actually do logistically. So
Okay, well, thanks. Thanks for kicking off the discussion with us.
yeah,
This
I would
is
love to
really
do
helpful.
camel rides on the beach. That'd be huge. So, but I don't know how it would
Hmm.
go.
Well,
Right.
Okay, thank you.
interesting.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Appreciate it.
Right. We move on to our next report, project timelines for animal shelter construction from Administrator Tim Johnson.
Commissioners, thank you. This gives a quick overview. This is update number 6 of probably what will be 25 to 30 that you'll receive. Significant effort, even with the rainfall, has occurred. So all the footings are in. And Ken, if I could get you to go to the photos, I'd be much obliged. Let's give you an example of this. Was taken on Monday, and this is just a portion of where the kennels are located. Hence the reason why you see the amassed amount of plumbing in the area. You can see all the footings are in now. We are at the 8th. On the 12th, the slab itself, the foundation will be poured. That will be an interesting effort. I'm not sure how many, and they have not informed me yet of how many concrete trucks will be required, but I'm sure the people of Walport are going to wonder what's going on because
Can you ballpark it at all?
I really wish I could, but I'm sure that there's going to be somewhere between 15 to 20, but it depends upon the nature of the strength of the concrete and how many trucks they have available for that pour that day. But it will be going on. So if you get a chance, you can go down there and watch it from the outside and look at it from the inside. Again, I keep trying to explain to you the massiveness of this building. And here's a good photo of it that's on your screen. It is much larger than I think staff ever has any idea about dealing with. There's a function of a second phase, but I'll tell you, I think they're going to find it hard to address the magnitude of this. And when you get an idea of the amount of land around it, I would just tell you that I was on the backside of this thing when I got my gallbladder attack, and I was putting up the signs on the outside of the fence that said construction zone, no trespassing. As I told council, we had in risk manager, we had to get those signs up and for OSHA purposes. And I was out there doing it on a Sunday late afternoon. Trying to walk around that thing and get off that property took me a good time to get around that. There's still a lot of excavation that still has to go on as a component of that project. So
Did you clear that with Gina before you started?
yeah, I did.
Great question.
And I didn't realize that we had not cleared a path clear around the outside perimeter.
Okay.
And so I was moving in and out of trucker brush and things, and it was not easy to say the least. But we did accomplish the goal of getting all the signs out there and fulfilling OSHA standards. But to that point, again, good week. A lot of headway is being made. We're supposed to only have, I believe, the weather forecast is bad day on Friday. They don't work Fridays. Then they'll be back on Monday, which will be a poor day.
This Monday is poor.
A poor, yeah, the
Okay.
12th.
Hmm.
Is that what day is the 12th? Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
The 13th.
Oh,
The 13th. So I'm sorry, it'll start the 13th. And we'll get going there. And then I think you get a pretty good handle of the magnitude of this thing. And then shortly thereafter, as that cures, you'll see the framing going up. And that I then will give you the satisfaction of the magnitude of what you've been directed to staff to perform. So again, that's our current update on this. Things are still, they've made up some time. We were behind about 3 weeks. I think we're now at about 8 days behind. And if, warm weather continues, they'll make up more of it.
Okay.
Any questions?
I have none.
Questions?
No, I don't think so. Thank you for the update.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And now we move on to commissioner reports.
Chair Hall, just note that my sample template was actually my report for today. So kind
Very
of served
good.
both
duty.
purposes. Thank you. Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson.
I just wanted to say that I attended a couple of different swearing-in ceremonies, both last week and this, yours, Commissioner Hall, as well as Sheriff Shanks. And there's also 2 others I was not in attendance for, Joe Davison, our tax assessor, and Jenna Wallace, our district attorney. So just wanted to say congrats to everybody, and also nice job to the people doing the swearing-in ceremonies as well. So.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you.
I don't have anything, so we now move to public comment. These are items of community concern, I guess we'd say, and the time limit is 3 minutes. Generally, we do not respond directly during the meeting, but as appropriate, we can follow up afterward.
Do we want to look online first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Nope.
Okay.
Then we do have the written public comment is posted as part of the agenda packet on the county website.
Okay.
Is there anybody on the agenda, on the sign-up sheet?
Covington, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is
Hello.
Amanda Covington. I live here in Lincoln County, and I'm a homeowner down in Seal Rock, Oregon. And I've been waiting for quite some time for the lottery to take place for the short-term rentals. And I called around. I didn't really know where to look to find out what the reasoning was behind the continuance of the moratorium. But I just wanted you all to know that I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I've tried to make sure that I followed all of the rules, and have been quite discouraged at another moratorium, and to ask that you please consider having that lottery.
Okay, thank you. Well,
Thank you.
I can talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other online or written or in-person comment? We don't have an executive session, so at this time at 11:18, we're in adjournment.